Hello, welcome everybody. So we are in our sixth module of Structural Analysis 1. Our sixth module is about arches. This is our second class. In the first class we saw what is an arch, what are the different components of an arch, what are the different types of arches, when and where we use arch, what is the advantage of an arch, comparison between a beam and an arch, comparison between an arch and a cable, then structurally depending upon the hinges how the arches are classified. So the arches are classified as 3-hinged arches, 2-hinged arches and hingeless arch. So in our syllabus we have to study about 3-hinged arches. So in this class we will see 3-hinged arches. We will see a part of 3-hinged arches. Remaining we will continue in the next class. This is your syllabus. So as I have told you in the first class, first of all we are going to study analysis of 3-hinged arches. So in analysis we need to study about the support reactions, the normal thrust and radial shear at any section for parabolic and segmented arch. So today we are going to analyze 3-hinged arches. We are going to see about 3-hinged arches. So as we have discussed in the last class, 3-hinged arch is a determinate structure. There is only the equilibrium conditions is enough to analyze your 3-hinged arch. So that means it is a determinate structure. Statical indeterminacy is equal to 0 for a 3-hinged arch. So 3-hinged arches, based upon the number of hinges, we have 3 hinges. That is why it is called a 3-hinged arch. So we will have 3 hinges, 1 hinge at one support, another hinge at the other support. So 2 hinges at the 2 supports and 1 hinge at the crown. That is why we call such arches as 3-hinged arches. So depending upon the shape, these 3-hinged arches can be segmented arch or parabolic arch. So parabolic arch, the shape of the arch will be like a parabola. Circular arch, when you extend the arch, it forms a circle. It is also known as a segmental arch because it forms a part of a circle. So if you take this segment, for example, if this is the circle, your arch will be like this. So you call it as circular arch or segmented arch. Now, parabolic arches, these arches can be supported at the same level or at different levels. So we are going to see such problems. So this class we will be seeing about circular arch or segmental arches. So segmental arch, also known as circular arches. So you can see this forms a segment. So we have a segment of a circle. So we call this as segmental arch. Now, this arch, the span of the arch is L. That is from the distance between the 2 supports is L. So half of the distance. So this is half of the distance of the arch. So that is L by 2. And from the span, because span is our supports are at the same level. So from the span to the crown. So this is the crown. From the span to the crown, the height is taken as h, or rise. This is called rise. From the span to the crown is called rise of the arch. So this rise is taken as h. Now if you extend this arch, this forms a circle. That is why we call it as segmental arch or circular arch. So since it forms a circle, there will be a center of radius O. So this is the center of the circle. So you can join this center of the circle. You can join this center of the circle from any point from the arch. So from the center, any point in the arch, the distance is r, that is radius. So we take from the support to the center, it is r, that is radius. We take any section at this point, so from this point to center, it is r. From the crown, this is the crown, from the crown to center, it is r. So anywhere in the arch, you take any section in the arch, the distance of any section in the arch from the center is r, that is the radius. The rise of the arch is taken as h. So this distance, that is the distance from the span, this is the span, distance from the span to the center is r minus h. Because from the center to the crown it is r and the rise is h. So from the span to the center the distance is r minus h. Now, so the span length is L, half of the span length is L by 2. Now, this is called chord segment theorem. We know if a circle is segmented by two chords. So this is one chord, this is another chord. So the distances, so these two chords segments each other. These are segmented chords. So every angle is 90 degree, 90 degree, 90 degree, 90 degree and 90 degree. If this is the case, if the chords are segmented each other, we know A multiplied by B is equal to C multiplied by D. A multiplied by B is equal to C multiplied by D. So we are going to use this theorem for our arches. So now we know, see this is the center, this point is, we'll use another color, okay. So this point is the center of the span. So you can divide the span into two equal halves, L by 2 and L by 2. One half is L by 2, another half is L by 2. So according to the chord segmental theorem, L by 2 multiplied by L by 2, that is this distance, L by 2 multiplied by L by 2 is equal to this distance. This is rise, h. So h multiplied by this distance. That is, this distance is 2r. That is, this is r plus this is another r. So 2r minus h. So I have put r plus r minus h. 2r minus h. So I repeat, according to the chord segmental theorem, L by 2 multiplied by L by 2 equal to h multiplied by this distance. So that is equal to 2r minus h. So we simplify this, we get r is equal to L square by 8h plus h by 2. So it is very easy to remember this. We remember the chord segmental theorem. we can easily apply while analyzing the arches. Now, let us take any section at a distance x. So, x is the x coordinate, y is the y coordinate. So, we take a section x at a distance x from the left support. So, this distance is x. So, when we are taking the section, this is the section. So, the point of section in the arch can be taken as D. So, if D is the section, this is from the left support, the x coordinate is x, and the distance, y distance, that is the vertical distance of the arch from the span is y. So, you can see the distance x and y. So, now our aim is to find the distance x and y. So, for finding x and y, see this point is D. So, from D, you join O. That is from D, draw a line to the center of the circle O. So that this line makes an angle of theta with the vertical. So this angle, that is the angle made by this line, that is line from the section on the arch to the center of the circle, is theta. So automatically this also will be equal to theta. Now we extend this line. See, we know this is x and this is y. So from the section D, from D at point D, we draw parallel lines to x and y. That means we draw horizontal line and vertical line. So when we are drawing vertical line from D, this is our vertical line from D, and this is our horizontal line towards O when extending this section D. So this distance, the x distance, so we have a right angled triangle. So this distance is r sin theta, and this distance will be r cos theta. This distance is r cos theta. So what is x? X will be equal to L by 2 minus r sin theta. This is L by 2, this is L by 2, and this is r sin theta. So x is equal to L by 2 minus r sin theta. I will erase the unnecessary lines so that you can see. Okay, now it is easy to understand. So x is equal to L by 2 minus r sin theta. Similarly, y is equal to r cos theta minus, that is, this distance is r cos theta minus this distance is r minus h. So r cos theta minus r minus h. So these are the things, these are the important things we should know before analyzing, before solving the problems of a segmental arch. Now, for any point considered in the arch, there will be horizontal and vertical reactions. That is, this is our arch. So you consider any point in the arch, anywhere in the arch, there will be, see, for example, for this case, I am taking the point here. Let this point be D. If this point is D, there will be horizontal and vertical reactions. It will be more appropriate to say horizontal and vertical shears. So, V is the vertical shear at D, H is the horizontal shear at D. Okay, so anywhere between the supports in an arch, anywhere in the arch, you will have a vertical shear and a horizontal shear. And this vertical shear, see, I told it is a shear. So shear means it is a summation of all the forces either to the left or to the right of the section. So when you are taking the vertical shear, it is a summation of all the forces either to the right or to the left of D. Same way, the horizontal shear also summation of all the forces, all the horizontal forces. See, when we say vertical shear, it is a summation of all the vertical forces either to the right or to the left of the section. When it is horizontal shear, it is a summation of all the horizontal forces either to the right or to the left of the section. Now, there will be a normal thrust and radial shear. See, this is called a normal thrust. Normal thrust will be acting like this. So, if vertical reaction is acting downwards and horizontal reaction is acting leftwards, your normal reaction will be acting toward between V and H, between the vertical shear and the horizontal shear. And Q is called radial shear. This radial shear will act normal to the normal thrust. So this is 90 degree and between V and H, this is 90 degree. So vertical shear and horizontal shear at a point D are normal to each other, are perpendicular to each other. Similarly, the normal thrust and radial shear will be perpendicular to each other. Now, so normal thrust N is equal to V sin theta plus H cos theta. So how to determine this theta? As I told you earlier, theta is the angle you draw. See, from the section considered, you draw a line towards the center. So the angle made by this line at the center vertically with respect to the vertical is called theta. So find theta, find the vertical shear, find the horizontal shear, so that our normal thrust is equal to V sin theta plus H cos theta. Similarly, our radial shear Q will be equal to V cos theta minus H sin theta. So now we will move on to our problem. So concept is over. Concept is over for 3-hinged circular or segmental arches. So just recall what we have studied. So we saw what is a segmental arch, how to mark the different components in a segmental arch, what about the rise, why it is called segmented arch. So from the, you can extend this segmented arch as a circle so that you will have a center. You can join the center to any part in the circle. In the arch it forms the distance will be equal to the radius. There will be a height h. Now, anywhere, any point in the arch, you will have horizontal shear, vertical shear, normal thrust and radial shear. Also, in order to find R or something, you need to use Scott's segmental theorem. Now, we will come to the problem. Example 1. A 3-hinged segmental arch hinged at the supports and at the crown has a span of 40 meter with a central rise of 8 meter. So there is a 3-hinged arch. So A and B are the supports. C is the central hinge. So A, B, C. So A is one support, B is another support and C is the central rise and we have 3 hinges. One hinge at A, one hinge at B and another hinge at C. So 3 hinged segmental arch. So span, it is given the span as 40 meter. So the span of the arch is 40 meter. See, remember it is a span of the arch. The diameter of the circle will be greater than the span of the arch. When we are taking a segmented arch, normally when the segment lies away from the diameter of the circle is always greater than the segment, that is always greater than the span length of the arch. So 40 meter is the span length. So automatically the diameter of the circle will be greater than 40, radius will be surely greater than 20. Okay. Now, central rise is given as 8 meter. So here we have marked the rise, that is this distance. This distance is 8 meter. 8 meter. Now, it carries a UDL of 20 kilonewton per meter over the left half span together with a concentrated load of 100 kilonewton at the right quarter span point. So left half we have an UDL of 20 kilonewton per meter and at the right quarter span we have a 100 kilonewton concentrated load. Now we are required to find the reaction at the supports. So we need to find what is the vertical and horizontal reactions at the supports A and B. Normal thrust and radial shear at a 10 meter from the left support. So our section is taken at a distance of 10 meter from the left support. So this is our section. Also find the moment at a 10 meter from the left support. So we are asked to find the horizontal and vertical reactions at the supports, moment at a section 10 meter from the left support and the vertical shear and normal thrust and radial shear. So first of all we will take sigma MB is equal to 0, moment at B is equal to 0. So we get VA into 40, VA into 40, that is the distance of the span, VA into 40 clockwise minus, next is anti-clockwise, this load, this 20 kilonewton per meter UDL is anti-clockwise, so it is minus. So minus 20 into 20, 20 is the intensity, 20 is the distance of the load. So 20 into 20 multiplied by 30, 30 because it is half of this distance is 10, 10 plus 20, that is why it is 30. So minus 20 into 20 into 30, then another load that is also clockwise towards B. So this 100 kilonewton load is also anti-clockwise. So 100 into 10 minus 100 into 10 is equal to 0. So from this we get vertical reaction at A, VA is equal to 325 kilonewton. Now we know VA plus VB. Vertical reactions is equal to downward loads. So VA plus VB is equal to, here the total load is 20 into 20 plus 100, concentrated load 100. So we get VB is equal to 175 kilonewton. Now, this is we have seen, we have calculated already VA and VB. Now we will consider sigma MC is equal to 0 because at C we have a hinge. So we will consider sigma MC is equal to 0. Now See, previous case we considered sigma MB is equal to 0 when there is a hinge, and when you are considering moment towards the hinge, we will consider either the left of the hinge or the right of the hinge. So here, while taking sigma MB is equal to 0, we considered all the loads, all the moments to the left of B. Now, while considering sigma MC is equal to 0, moment at C is equal to 0, we have to consider either the left of C or to the right of C. So here I have taken the left of C. You can take right of C also, you will get the same answer. So when considering the left of C, it is VA into 20. This is VA, so VA into 20 minus H into 8, anti-clockwise, that is why minus H into 8. Now again this is an anti-clockwise load, so minus 20 into the half of the distance is 10 is equal to 0. So we get H is equal to, that is horizontal reaction is equal to 312.5 kilonewton. Horizontal reaction is the same at both the supports. That is why we are taking HA is equal to HB is equal to, it is H. Only one horizontal reaction. It is the same at both the supports. So H is equal to 312.5 kilonewton. You can take either the left of C or the right of C. Now we have found vertical reaction at A, horizontal reaction at A, and vertical reaction at A, vertical reaction at B, and horizontal reactions at A and B. Now we will use the segmental chord theorem. So this is our, here this point is segmented. Okay, the chords AB. So one chord is AB, another chord is C. We will extend this. We will take this as some E. Okay, we will take this as E. So one chord is AB, another chord is CE. So it is segmented at this point. So according to the theorem, it is AR multiplied by RB. So AR is 20. That is why it is 20 here. RB is 20. So 20 multiplied by 20, that is L by 2 multiplied by L by 2 is equal to, this distance is 8 meter. The rise is 8 meter. So 8 multiplied by this distance. So this distance is 2R minus 8. So it is 2R minus 8. So from this we get radius is equal to 29 meter. See, I told you earlier, the span length of the arch is 40 meter. That means the diameter is greater than 40 meter. Diameter will be greater than 40 meter. Which means your radius will be greater than 20 meter. Radius will be greater than 20 meter. So if you get the value for radius less than 20 meter, then your answer is wrong. We should get greater than 20 meter. So radius R is equal to 29 meter. Now, our aim is to find the normal thrust and radial shear. So what is normal thrust and radial shear? We know the formula N is equal to normal thrust at D is equal to. So it is asked, find the normal thrust and radial shear at a distance of 10 meter from the left support. That means at point D. So normal thrust N is equal to Vd sin theta plus Hd cos theta, and radial shear Q is equal to, that is Q at D, or you can take it as QD, equal to Vd cos theta minus Hd sin theta. Now our aim is to find Vd and Hd and theta. Vd, Hd, theta. Vd is the vertical shear at D, Hd is horizontal shear at D. So what is theta? From the point D, join the line towards O. So this makes an angle of theta with the vertical. So this is theta with the vertical. So automatically this angle is also equal to theta. So by using Pythagoras theorem, we get sin theta is equal to 10 by r. This is 10 meter because x is taken at a distance of 10 meter. So in the right angled triangle, the x distance is 10 meter and the y distance is r cos theta. That means r sin theta is 10 meter. So we get the sin theta is equal to 10 by r. We get theta is equal to 20.17 degrees. So now we have found VA, VB, H, R and theta. Now we will find what is the vertical shear at D. So vertical shear at D, so this is our section at D. Now since this section is lying in the left half of the arch, we will take left of D. See, I repeat, D is lying in AC, that is in the left half of the arch. So we will consider the left of D. If D is lying in the right half of the arch, that is if D is lying in the portion CB, it is better to take the right of D for to make our calculations easier and simpler. That's all. You can take either left or right. In order to make our solution, or in order to make our calculations simpler, we will take, now since D lies in AC, in the left half of the arch, we will consider the left of D. So while considering the left of D, the vertical shear, that is summation of all the vertical forces to the left of D. Summation of all the vertical forces to the left of D is VA. VA is, see, our section is D, right? Our section is D. VA is left upwards. We know when we are taking a section, the left upwards is taken as positive. Left upwards and right downwards is taken as positive. So VA is taken as positive. The next vertical load is up to this, that is 20 into 10. This is the left downwards. When you are considering the section D, this load is left downwards, 20 into 10. So it is taken as minus. So vertical shear at D is equal to VA minus 200. We get 125 kilonewton. Now we will find the horizontal shear at D. That is the summation of all the horizontal forces to the left of D. So when we take summation of all the horizontal forces to the left of D, we have only one horizontal load towards the right. See, when you are taking the section, left rightwards is taken as positive. Left rightwards is taken as positive. Remember, left right of the section is taken as positive. So H is taken as positive. So HD is equal to 312.5 kilonewton. Now we will apply our formula. Normal thrust at D is equal to ND is equal to V sin theta plus H cos theta. It is 336.43 kilonewton. And the radial shear at D is equal to V cos theta minus H sin theta. Substitute, we get 9.58 kilonewton. So in the diagram you can see how the horizontal shear at D, vertical shear at D, the normal shear at D and the radial shear at D. Now we will go for example 2. And one more thing we have left in example 1, that is, it is asked to find the moment at the section. So moment at the section, you can take VA into 10 minus H into the rise, minus H into 8 minus 20 into 10. 20 into 10 into 5. You will get the moment at the distance 10 meter from X. So you do that also. I have missed it here. Okay, example 2. A circular arch of span 25 meter with a central rise of 5 meter is hinged at crown and at the supports. It carries a point load of 100 kilonewton at 6 meter from the left support. Calculate the reactions at the supports, the reactions at the crown, the moment at 5 meter from the left support, and also the normal thrust and radial shear. So we will draw the diagram first. It is given, the span is given as 25 meter. So L is 25 meter. That means our radius, so L by 2 is 12.5 meter. Our radius will be greater than 12.5 meter. Remember, our radius will be greater than 12.5 meter. So central rise is 5 meter. So this distance is 5 meter. Central rise is 5 meter. It carries a point load of 100 kilonewton at 6 meter from the left support. From the left support for a distance of 6 meter, a unit concentrated load of 100 kilonewton. Concentrated load of 100 kilonewton is given. Calculate the reaction at the supports, the reactions at the crown, the moment at 5 meter. So this distance is 6 meter. This distance is 5 meter. This D is at a distance of 5 meter. Okay. So like the previous problem, you can solve this problem. Take sigma MB is equal to 0. We get VA is equal to 76 kilonewton. Now apply vertical reactions is equal to downward loads. We get VB is equal to 24 kilonewton. Now take sigma moment at C is equal to 0. You take either the left of C or the right of C. So we get H is equal to 60 kilonewton. Now you apply the segmental chord theorem. So 12.5 into 12.5, L by 2 into L by 2 is equal to this rise 5 into 2R minus 5. We get R is equal to 18.125 meter. That means it should be greater than 12.5 meter. So 18.125 meter. Now from D is the section. So from D, join the center and find theta using Pythagoras theorem. Theta is equal to 20.173. Now at X is equal to 5 meter, find what is Y. So this Y is equal to R cos theta minus R minus 5. See, this distance is R minus 5. This distance is R minus 5. You can see here. R minus 5. So it is Y is equal to R cos theta minus R minus 5. We get it as 3.37 meter. Now you apply the formula for normal thrust. We get the normal thrust as 86.09 kilonewton. And apply the formula for radial shear. We get radial shear as 44.36 kilonewton. At D, we are asked to find the moment at D. So moment at D is equal to VA, vertical reaction, this VA into the distance at D, vertical distance at D, 5, then anti-clockwise. So minus H into the rise, sorry, not the rise, the distance Y, 3.37. So we don't have any load to the left of D, so only these two forces acts. So it is 177.8 kilonewton meter. See, previous problem also used this same concept. Now we are asked to find a reaction at crown. So how do we find the reaction at crown? Listen, crown is C, right? Crown is C. So how will we find the reaction at crown? So when this is C, Listen. So at C, this is a statically determinate structure. So at C, you can take either the left of C or the right of C. So left of C, we take all the vertical reactions. So summation of all the vertical reactions. So it is VA minus 100. VA minus 100. So that force will be acting here. VA minus 100. See, if VA minus 100 is positive, if VA minus 100 is positive, this force will be acting downwards. Sorry. We don't have the loads on the right, so we will take right first so that it is easy. So you see, to the right of C, we have the vertical reaction as VB. So to the right of C, your reaction will be like this. That will be equal to VB. To the right of C, you will have a horizontal reaction H. Because to the right of C, you have only one horizontal reaction. Now, to the left of C, it is VA minus 100. VA minus 100. You will get the value equivalent to VB upwards. This also will be equal to VB. And you will have the horizontal reaction in the opposite direction, H. So it has been balanced at C. This is the reaction at the crown. So you can consider either the right or the left. It should be balanced. So, but anywhere, see, only at the hinge this exists. Anywhere in the arch other than the hinge, you will have horizontal shear, vertical shear, normal thrust and radial shear. So that's all. Thank you students. Hope you all understood. Thank you. We will see the remaining problems in the next class. Thank you.